How is everyone tonight? Can you guys believe it is already 11 days into September? Is anyone in here out in Florida? Is everybody doing okay who was in Florida? I don't know if we have any of those peeps on the call. I know we have a big team of coaches who are out of like Tampa, and they were all over the country. So a lot of them came back to Pittsburgh, or they were traveling to Alabama, and I'm just hoping everybody is safe. They were so on my thoughts and my prayers, but I know for me, it's been a little bit scattered the last couple of days trying to figure out and navigate social media. And so one thing that I kind of did over the last couple of days is I really started looking into just how I want to talk about volume, right? So we all know that volume matters. We all know that volume is a direct connection into our income. But what we don't always know is the best way to actually maximize it and to make what we're already doing just more fruitful. So tonight, as I was kind of thinking about this, I thought about some simple ways that I can really share how we're doing this. And let me preface this, but I asked a couple of the leaders on my team last week to do a call. And I asked them to all come to the table and just share a little bit of the products. And so in that call, and as I was thinking about that, I realized that, there's just a need to know a little bit more of the opportunity that you might have in front of you that is beyond just earning Success Club points. So let me ask you guys, has anyone ever felt the pressure of achieving Success Club? And if you can, just give me a comment or something in the thread that tells me you have at some point in your business felt this pressure, okay? All right, I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper. How many of you have ever felt like your worth was determined by the Success Club points that you earned? Yep, yep, yep. Yep. It's frustrating, right? And so how many of you think that Success Club is a direct connection to success in the business? Can you guys give me a yes, a no, or where are you with all that? All right. So I'm going to tell you this very honestly. I'm going to speak very, very honestly. I am a firm believer that Success Club is the foundation of the business, right? I have always found it to be something that shows that I am bringing new customers in and that they are seeing the benefit of what is our biggest product, which is, of course, Shakeology. And I have also been somebody who has really felt that pressure of achieving those goals. With that being said, I do believe it to be important. And I am not doing this call to in any way share differently. I'm not trying to say that it isn't, but I really want to make sure that you guys are opening your eyes to what success means to you in this business and the other opportunities that you have in front of you. So as the speaker on this call, I guess I should share a little bit of background. And for those of you who don't know me, I've been doing this for 5 years. I am one of Melanie Mitro's first coaches in the organization. I am the one she always talks about in terms of the person that held her back from going to the first retreats because I didn't get my diamond rank fast enough. And it's kind of this running joke with us now, but in the past year, my business kind of took a little bit of a shift. And I knew that I needed to really take control of my own business. And what I started to realize is that it wasn't going to be done just by earning Success Club points. It was really going to be done by understanding how to maximize the compensation plan and also how to make sure that I understood that I'm taking advantage of everything that the catalog of Beachbody programs has to offer. So tonight, I entitled this call, Pumping Up Your Volume and Maximizing Income Growth with the Catalog and the Compensation Plan. So if at any point you want to screenshot what I'm going to share with you, that's totally fine. But I do have I have all intentions of sharing this with you guys as well. So let's kind of dive into this a little bit. So here is what my job is for you guys tonight. My job is to educate you on the catalog. And I want you to think beyond what Shakeology is. I want you to think beyond what you are selling to people, how we lead with just Shakeology, but also what our catalog really has to offer. And there's a lot in there. And right now, you might kind of be doing a little bit of a gut check with yourself and saying, well, what else do I use? What else do I talk about? What do I talk about in my challenge groups? What do I talk about on my wall? What are the products that I love? And if you're kind of like, I don't know if I really do talk about anything but Shakeology, or if you go onto your own timeline and you look at your own posts, you might say, well, I really haven't been saying much about anything else. So we're going to talk about that. The second thing I want to do is I really want to educate you on the compensation plan, and that's going to get into personal volume and team volume. And I'm going to go into strategies specifically for pumping those things up, as well as doing a little bit of the hard work, which is reflection really of your current business goals, your personal volume growth, and then your team volume growth as well. All right, so let's kind of, if you have your computers, you might want to do like a screen side by side if possible, because I really want you to dive into your back office today. I really want you to look at a couple of the screen shares that I show you. I want you to look at your own screen shares. And I want you to be able to really look at, well, am I using these tools? Am I actually looking at this bigger picture? The first thing that I want to mention to you is that we have this awesome product catalog. And by product catalog, I'm not talking about what gets mailed to you, and you look through and you browse through, but a catalog is the merchandise and all of the items that we have to offer. And we have a solution for all of the products, we have a solution to what our customers need. And something, whether it's Shakeology or not, is going to help them fulfill whatever that need is. And like I said, if you go into the Coach Online office, I want you to click on Sales and Marketing. And then under Sales and Marketing is the Product Toolkit. When you go into that spot in the product toolkit, yes, you're going to see our Body Beast, our T25, our Shakeology. You're going to see all of that. But in there is also going to be some of the other not as talked about products that you have that can enhance somebody's results. So, for example, if you go into the Boost picture, if you click on that Boost picture under the product toolkit, you're likely going to see a whole plethora of information about the Boost. It's going to give you talking points. It's going to give you information about how to share it. It's going to give you information about the TV and the PV, how much it's worth. And I'll go into that as well. But you have to make sure that you know what you have to offer. Because if you're thinking you just have an all access and a Shakeology and that's it, you're probably robbing yourself of a lot of income opportunity simply because you aren't driving the other ideas home. And then I want to share with you this document too. I'm going to be adding it right into the chat section. Stop share for 1 second. This was actually, let me do this. This was actually shared by another leader. But if you take a look at that document, did it go in? I don't know if it worked or not. Try that again. There you go. Do you guys see that? If you look at that document, it's a great resource for you to just to make a copy of and keep for yourself, because it goes over not just Shakeology, not just All Access, but it goes over the Boost, it goes over your Energize, it goes over Hydrate, and how you can actually fulfill a solution for people. So let me give you an example. I went to the park the other day. My son was playing his hockey game, and we had the water bottles with us, and they were filled with Hydrate. And somebody asked me if I just bottled up Gatorade for my son, and I was like, no, I actually don't. I do this instead because it's not loaded with the artificial sugars and colors that a lot of times they put in Gatorade. And I had a sample of the Hydrate on her. I got her contact information, and she became a customer just for the Hydrate. So was it a solution for weight loss? No, that's not what she was looking for that day. That's not to say that she isn't going to look for that on another occasion, but I had a solution for her for something that she did have a concern about. And as a mom, I know many of you guys know that your kids want the Gatorades. When they want to play a game and they're going outside and they're outdoors and you want to keep them hydrated, it's really easy to give them the Gatorade. Hydrate is another solution that we have to fulfill. All right, so I just wanted to share that. The other link I'm going to give to you is the call my leaders did, and they did an awesome job where they really broke down the way that they talk about our products and programs and the benefits of those products and programs. So we covered everything from the performance line to, you're welcome, the performance line to Daily Sunshine to Derm Exclusive. How many of you guys have talked about Derm Exclusive before? To, I think we did, I can't remember what else we did. We did all, like a lot of them though. So it's covered in there. So it's a great resource for you to start thinking outside the box in terms of what products and programs you are sharing with people. All right, going back to what I was doing with my shared screen, I just wanted to make sure I had that information for you. Move that over there. Okay, so that's a little bit about the products. We're going to tie it all together though in a couple of minutes. I also want you to start understanding volume too. So when we talk about volume, we talk about it in a couple different ways. You may have heard the term PV and you may have heard the term TV. When you see the leader shout outs that your upline does or the ones that Melanie does, you might say, how do they actually get those numbers? Where do those numbers actually come from? And if you aren't really sure where to look for those numbers, it might be hard to see, but there are two ways that you're going to really create income with residual income, right? So number one, you have what's called personal volume. So personal volume is not just your personal orders, but it's everything you personally bring in. So that means your customer purchases and then your personal orders. And this is what creates your commission. Anyone at any rank can create personal volume. So if you're an Emerald coach, a Diamond coach, a Star Diamond, or an active coach, not yet an Emerald, everybody can create personal volume. If you're not sure where to look at this, we are going to start getting into the habit of doing that by going into the back office. We're going to click on volume details. And when you click on the volume details button, you're going to look specifically at the column that says PV or personal volume. That is what you yourself have brought in any one given week. So if you're looking at that right now and it's Monday night and you say to yourself, oh my gosh, I haven't made any sales this week, or okay, so I have a new order and maybe you didn't even know that a lead had potentially ordered something. That is a great source for you to look into to make sure that you are on top of what is going on in your business. Another example, if the returns come in and you see negative numbers, or when you click on the number and you actually can see the entire row of people who have placed orders, you're going to be able to actually place what the order is, see what the volume is for it, and then you can also then align it to what your commissions are going to be that following week. Team volume, though, is a little bit different. And this is really going to come into play once you achieve Emerald rank. Now, Emerald rank is key. It's actually one of the best kept secrets in the business because I just don't think we do a good enough job of talking enough about why this rank matters. So, couple things that are kind of the no-brainers. Well, you go Emerald, you're going to get leads. You're going to get your Success Club leads. If you hit SE10, you're going to get your Shakeology leads as well. But the other reason that it's really key is because it now has opened the doors to the compensation plan. And that is where you are going to start to accrue and what we call bank team volume. And that is huge. So please understand that as you are starting your business, you are very likely going to start seeing other coaches added underneath you in terms of their placement, and they may not be yours personally sponsored, but you're still going to get volume from them. And that volume banks, but the catch is you as a coach always need to remain active or you lose that banked volume, okay? So as an Emerald coach, you start building your business. And if you aren't sure what an Emerald, there's tons of videos. If you just go onto Google or go onto YouTube or you go into any of your team pages, there's information about Emerald. But at the end of the day, it's very basic. It is a coach on your left leg and a coach on your right leg. It is two coaches. And as long as you have two coaches, you have the doors to the compensation plan open. Now, to discount coaches, aren't going to get you very far. However, if you start to teach your coaches about what the team cycle bonus opportunity is, you're going to start seeing volume be built underneath you as well. So I just want to tell you where to find this part of it. So you're going to go into your back office again. It's also known as the COO, the Coach Online Office. So if you see COO or you see back office, it's the same thing. And then you're also going to be able to break that down by leg. So for an understanding of what volume is, what all the products are, guys, CoachFAQ.com is your go-to. So if you're looking for specifics on how much volume a product is, how much team volume a product is, because team volume and personal volume are not always equivalent, your FAQ is going to give you all of that information. But the key to this is knowing that your team volume is your residual income. That is your growth. If you keep seeing that growth, that isn't what you personally have brought in that week in sales. It's what your team is bringing in on sales. But the more you show your team what other products and programs we have to offer, the more you're going to be able to see that your volume is going to grow. So I just took a couple of screenshots for you. Let me see if I can move that real quick. So I took a couple of screenshots for you just so you guys can see where this is in your back office. So, oops, sorry about that. So when you guys look at the volume screenshots, you're going to see that in one part, you're going to see projected PV and projected customer PV. PV, again, is your personal sales too. So if you have like your 90 PV order go in, your projected PV might be higher than your customer PV. Your team volume amount is your total for your left leg and your right leg, and then your left leg team volume as well as your right leg team volume. But then you can break it down even further. So by line, you're going to notice that this particular coach had a negative 90 in terms of her personal volume. And that was likely a return, a customer return, what was probably Shakeology. But please also notice that she has volume on her left leg and she has volume on her right leg. That volume and anything that she doesn't use is going to get banked, but she's still going to make a commission even though she had a return, all right? So like I said, you go into volume details. Oh, sorry. You go into volume details. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so you go into your volume details, and I'm just going to do it this way because it's so finicky. You go into those volume details, and then you can break it down into your left leg and your right leg. But what I also like is when you guys see that it says your total PV, it's a blue line, which means it's a hyperlink, which means that you can click on it, and you're going to see what your orders are in that make up that 188 or whatever that total is. Now, within 1 month, you're looking at about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, depending on what the month is. That is what your total is for the entire month. I always say to people, you're going to want to look at a goal of being a 500 a month coach, a 500 PV a month coach. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But just a couple of heads up that what you're going to see is when you look at personal volume, 38 is usually it is a quarterly membership. That is the PV you get for that. I'm sorry, the AA, is that buy? I think that's semi, I don't remember. It's something like that. The membership, all access membership. The 15 is your quarterly, and you can correct me in the chat bar too. And then the 135 is going to represent a challenge pack. So all of that equals your 188. And again, if you want to double check, see who had actually placed the order, your customer ID number is clickable. You can click on that and break it down even further. But I want to present something to you that might be a little bit different than something that you have maybe looked at before. And again, all of this is going to be in your CoachFAQ.com. So if you go into there, if you look at this and you say, all right, well, I want to know what a challenge pack costs and I want to know what the commission is. So let's just take all access, for example. So I look at this and I say, all right, Katie, I know in 1 month for a coach to know that they are building a business and they are bringing in new customers, they are what is called a 500 PV base coach, meaning that you're bringing in 1 month, not in 1 week, but in 1 month, 500 PV. And what this shows is that it's continuous orders, which means it indicates that it's sustainable, and new orders indicate growth. So although you might be doing a great job of having residual orders come in, you want to start asking yourself, do I have 500 PV a month in new orders? So anything above and beyond that 500 a month base is great, but all of the individual orders, your first time customer orders, is where you are going to see growth. So on the left-hand side, where you see the All Access Challenge Pack is $160. That's what it is right now. It's on sale right now. There's 2 things that I want you to focus on. Number 1, your team volume is 45. That means that if a coach underneath you sells an All Access Challenge Pack, you are going to see 45 TV points that are going towards your left leg or right leg volume, depending on where they're placed. If you yourself personally sell an All Access Challenge Pack, you are going to see 135 PV. No matter what, you are going to have a commission, meaning you're going to earn that $50 for the All Access Challenge Pack. The initial order is great. We want the initial order. But when we're working with this customer, we want to make sure that the best way that we maximize this is that we are going to see the residual from that order. A residual where you see the TV in terms of an All Access Challenge Pack. So someone underneath you signs somebody with a challenge pack the first month. Instead of it being 45 TV the second month that person orders, when their Shakeology goes through, you're getting 90 TV. So you want that continuity. You want people to stay on Shakeology, but you want to keep building from there. Yes, residual is good in terms of people staying on. That's sustainable, but we're not just looking for sustainability. We're looking for growth. And in order for growth to happen, we want to make sure that we're aware of what are my personal sales? What am I actually bringing in? And the best way for you to do this is to go back. Go back and look at your own PV. Now, I know that some of you guys might have spouses. It's up to you how you want to count it. Now, recognition-wise, it's not always recognized in the same way. But I think that you really want to look at, well, what do I bring in 1 month? And so total up the 4 for August, right? So go into where it says total PV and count that and say, did I hit 500? And if I hit 500, was it residual orders or were they new orders? Were they new people I was bringing in? And if it wasn't 500 PV and new, that's a challenge for you to say, all right, I need to up the ante. I need to make sure that I'm looking towards new ways of growing. I also want to mention something too. I got to look at my chat bar real quick. Is this good so far? Amber, yes. Okay, cool. Yes. Sorry about that. Yep. You get any for your coaches, your coaches' coaches, your coaches' coaches' coaches. So building a team, that's why Emerald is so key. When you become an Emerald coach, you can start that build. You can start that growth. You can start teaching your team how to start maximizing this as well. And just to mention too, there's a cap out, and capping out means that in any one given week, if you hit the max in terms of income, it's going to be $250. Now, I don't know about you, but I know that there's a lot of emeralds on this call, and you might be saying to yourself, okay, but I'm nowhere near 250 PV. Well, are you signing discount coaches who aren't signing coaches? Because if you're just signing discount coaches, we need to talk more. And we're going to go into this month, I'm sure, on the calls. You need to think more in terms of, well, how can I start working with people who want to build a business, and teaching them the simplicity of this is really a great way to do it. Looking back to August for 500 new PV, is this in a week or in a month? Dara, it's in a month. So the big goal for 500 new PV would be in a month. Now, that's not to say that some of you might be saying, well, I always hit 500 a week, but I really want you to examine if it's new orders or if they are old customers who are just reordering, because we're looking for growth. We're not just looking for sustainability. So if you want to look at that by week, that's better. Now, I also wrote on here, think bigger. If you're looking at this and you're saying, well, I don't have a problem hitting 500 a month, in fact, I'm well over that, then you need to look at this and say, well, what is a manageable increase for me? And mine would be to measure your last month and to actually increase it by 10%. That is a challenge. That's a doable challenge for yourself. And I'm gonna go over a couple ways that you guys can actually do that. So that is one thing that I want you to do. And I hope that you're looking at your Coach Online office. I hope that your calculators are out and you're really thinking about this and really looking at, yes, okay, I see where maybe I can do a little better. Okay, I sold a lot of challenge packs, but they never reordered. And so I didn't necessarily get the second month worth of commission. And so you really want to say to yourself, I want to make sure it's vital that I am helping these people get those results. But I also want you to understand that we have a need that we can fulfill. Like we can, I'm sorry, I said it backwards. We can fulfill a number of needs. And so we can think beyond the Shakeology. We can think beyond the initial sale. All right, so let me give you guys a couple of really easy ways to make your income grow. And I'm going to talk more about this in terms of PV right now, but we'll go over some TV stuff too. So Shakeology is our claim to fame, right? So your Beachbody, Shakeology, they're those crazy shake drinkers, all of that. But that isn't all we have. So I want to make sure that we're really understanding there's a lot more that we have to offer than just Shakeology. So I want to start thinking about how can I turn a no that somebody had and make sure that I'm actually meeting their need. So even if somebody gives me a time objection, a price objection, is there a product in the catalog that is going to meet their other needs? And the answer is yes. But part of that is just educating yourself on what that is. So here's a couple of tips that I can use that I can help you with. So one way to easily increase your income by $20 in commission is actually to lead all sales with the Kickstart. So this is the easiest thing in the world to do, and it's also the easiest thing like not to do either because we don't always think of it. But when you're closing a sale, you're ready to sell that challenge pack, you are going to give them two options. You're just going to do this. You're going to get in the habit of doing this. And you're going to say something like, and this is my wording, I should say. So you want to sound like you. But I say something like, hey, you know what? There's actually two options. The first one is the challenge pack we discussed, but I really love the second option because it includes the 3-day refresh. I do this program every time I start a new program, and it helps me create the new habits by cutting out my sugar cravings fast. And then I get all amped by the results I see, and I am like super pumped to keep going. Now, normally I cut out about 5 pounds doing it. And what's really cool is that when I want to follow the meal plan, I totally keep it off. So holla for the quick wins, right? Anywho, thought I'd share the little secret to motivation. So I send them that first, and there's a couple of things in there that are like, well, duh, 3 days. I need to cut my cravings. Did she say 5 pounds off fast? Totally, like, it's a deal. And this is how I sell so many Kickstarts. I sell a lot of Kickstarts because I just make it a no-brainer that you want to start with the Kickstart. And I don't even talk about the price of the Kickstart. They'll look at it. But I think when I give them something so basic as this, they really just are interested. So that's one thing I wanted to share. And honestly, just doing that could increase your pay by $20, just your $20. But if you sell 3 Kickstarts, that's $20, $60 that you're making just by adding an extra couple sentences. Like, it's a no-brainer. Of course you're going to do it. Okay, so the other one I wanted to share with you is how we can turn a no into a need. And I do this a couple times. I do this sometimes right after a no, but sometimes I do it like a week after a no or a few days after it. So I say something like, girl, no worries, I totally get it. And I will for sure put you on the list for next month because I have all intentions of following up with them. But I'm going to actually a few days later going to say something like, oh Lord, I feel like such a jerk. And that's like that's my signature line is I feel like a jerk. I know you mentioned that fill the need. What did they say to you in the first place? I don't have enough energy. I don't have time to work out. I don't have, I don't know, like whatever it might be. And I know that you mentioned now is not the time for, and then my challenge group or, losing weight or whatever it is. But I forgot to mention, we have this awesome product. It's called Energize. And literally I am addicted to that stuff. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm doing a 3-day refresh, but I don't give that stuff up. I do not give that stuff up. That's just full disclosure. That's just the truth. I just thought I would share that. I feel like I just confessed my sin to you. It's true. I don't know if it's a good fit for you, but I have, and this is where you can either A, send them a sample, or B, or ask for the sale. And I use it every day and I didn't even think of it. Can I show you the info? And so you can kind of decide, this is just a great way to continue a conversation with someone. And so what if they didn't buy Shakeology all the way? And so what if you ended up talking to them about Energize and you ended up selling them Energize, and then down the road you sell them a Shakeology? And I have to kind of talk to you a little bit about samples too, because this is kind of one of those things that people are like, I don't really want to invest in my business. I don't really want to do that. You guys, an Energize packet with a small Post-it note costs like no extra additional postage. You put a stamp on it and you put a Post-it note that says, dude, you totally need this. It rocks. You're going to love it. Check it out. Here's a sample of Energize. Throw it in the mail to your current customers, or I don't know, or somebody who said no to you and say, I totally get that you're busy. I totally get that you're a mom and you don't have a lot of energy, and I think you need this. And you send them a sample. And I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to Energize, I feel like that stuff needs to be shared big time, because I feel like it's an addiction and it is an easy way for you to increase your income, because if you love it as much as I do, you're going to sell it as much as I do. So it's very natural to talk about it. So order some samples. And Jess Colamarino, who is like the master of all things understanding policies and procedures and all this kind of random stuff, she informed me that you can buy 3 boxes of the Energize packets and it won't increase the shipping. And the key number is 3. So buy some samples of not Shakeology, of Energize or Hydrate, and use them to mail out to your current customers, to mail out to people who are leery of the price, but you think they would be great. Send them out to people who were on your sneak peek and aren't ready to commit to coaching. Send them out, because the investment you make in sending them a packet of Energize is going to pay for itself. Why? Because everybody likes getting things in the mail. Everybody. I don't care who you are, you like getting stuff in the mail. And even furthermore, you like getting things in the mail that aren't bills, because nobody actually likes getting bills. You like getting fun things in the mail. And who wouldn't like Energize in the mail? You can mail me Energize and I will love you forever. And I drink it all the time and I can buy it myself, but I love it that much. So my point is, go out of your way, go the extra mile, and you can share those extra products. So what products are you using and sharing, and then how can you meet that need? So here's a couple of examples. And if the call that I gave you earlier that my coaches did, they do talk about how they talk about any product line in their challenge group. So for example, your experience with the product. So, I'm doing the 3-day refresh, which is why I'm a little bit like sluggish and weird tonight, but my experience with the products, I'm sharing that with my challengers, and my challengers become my advocates, and my advocates are the ones that sometimes do my selling for me. So when I'm in my challenge group, I'm talking to them about the fact that I'm not eating cake which kind of stinks sometimes, but I'm drinking a detox shake called Fiber Sleep, and it can be just as awesome as cake. And I'm totally being sarcastic because nothing is as awesome as cake. So order samples, right? So you order your Energize, you order your Hydrate, and then somebody rocked their challenge group this week, or they lost a couple pounds. You send them that thing in the mail, and they're like, Katie, I tried Energize, and that is the best thing that I have ever had. Guess what's going to happen? They're probably going to order Energize. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to increase your volume. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to be really excited because they're going to love Energize, and you're going to be a little bit like ching ching, like you're going to be a little bit happier, right? I'm just keeping it real. So order samples. Yeah, you invest in the samples up front, and then the samples pay for themselves. That's how it kind of works. Send out thank yous, offer as prizes, and ask people to do a program with you. This is the one that I don't think a lot of people do, but I think it works really well. And I do this all the time with a 3-day refresh because I don't believe that it's okay for anyone to refresh alone, because I feel like everybody should commiserate together. And so I always ask people if they want to do it with me. And a lot of times people say, no, I'm not crazy. And I'm like, yes, you need to do this with me because you're going to lose a couple pounds, and you're going to get rid of the bloat, and you're going to get rid of all that cake that I know you ate. And we are going to do this together. And a lot of times when you just say it with confidence that, no girl, we're doing this together, they're going to be excited. And not even in the team front, in your challenge group front. Tell them up front that you're doing it, and they're going to do it with you. Or you do something like you put the boost formula, the digestive health, or the focus energy, or the greens. Like, we all need some more green. That's why we're on this call, except for I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about power greens. So power greens, like maybe you guys all want to try it out together. You want to be in the trenches with your people. So you are saying, let's do this together. You cannot expect to sell a product when you yourself aren't using it. And I get that some of us have like allergies, or we can't use certain products. That's fine. We've got an entire catalog of something that you can use. So figure out what you can use and use that, okay? All right, so that's how we share it in our challenge group. We're getting the job done. I have people in my challenge group. They're buying their 3-day refreshes. I have a girl starting next week. I'm telling her how awful it is, and she's going to love every second of it. She hates me. She loves me. She's going to lose weight. She's going to be really happy. On your timeline, you want to think about the shake, but you want to build some curiosity to it. And if you weren't at Summit, Shalene Johnson just posted like a 3-part series. It was on YouTube, and it was about just curiosity, and it was about, she had a couple things. I just watched it. So borrowed words are for the birds. Don't tell me you're about to sell me, all that kind of thing. She talks about building that curiosity. So yeah, you might be talking about Shakeology, but I want you to talk about it beyond the shake, or not even mention that it is the shake, but mention something a shake does for you, or even having it in a picture with you without even calling attention to it. When I taught middle school, one of the things we talked a lot about was product placement, and how advertisers spend a lot of money not to even mention the word. If you go to the movies now, a lot of times films are funded partly by product placement. You'll see like a Lowe's, or you'll see a Pepsi, or you'll see something like that. It's the same idea, but you're being strategic about it without being too forward about it. I'm going to go back to Energize for a second. Energize is this bright yellow color. It stands out. You don't even have to say the word Energize. You can say something that you love about that product, and it's going to build curiosity. And that's what you want. You don't want people going to Google to figure it out. You want them to go to you to figure it out, okay? Testimonials, of course, personal and customer based. All of that kind of stuff is great to have on your timeline as well. And I'm going to give a couple examples too. So on your team, this is where we talk about team volume. I'm going to give you a couple of ideas. I realize, listen, I know that they have the trials of Shakeology. Like, you can go in and you can buy, people can buy a trial. They can check it out for themselves. But there is something about you packaging up the Shakeology for them and being with them while they're doing their Shakeology that helps. So Jen Guthrie, I think, just mentioned that they're doing like a replace your coffee, and they did coffee or cafe latte. And Jen, if you're on here, if you want to correct me, they did like cafe latte, and then they gave everyone a packet of Energize, like replace your coffee or something like that. I have done shake-offs where I do 7 days of Shakeology, and I give them a meal plan as well. And then I might give them little cards. Even if you go into the files, into the Dream Team page, there are probably those little cards. They're cards that you just cut out, and you just have recipes for them. And that whole week, you're so invested in helping them and get results, you know, that they're excited and they're going to see results. The other idea that Katie Pivowar came up with, I think, was that have a couple of friends go in on one box of Shakeology, and you mentor 2 or 3 of them for that duration of when they're using it by giving them those recipes, giving them a meal plan. The meal plan that I use the most is actually in your Beachbody On Demand. It's the 5-day fast track plan, and it is from T25, and it's good. And people love it, and I use it all the time for my shake-offs. And I haven't done one in a while, but it's pretty good. And it was clean up your coffee. Clearly, if I would have read for content, it's right underneath me. So clean up your coffee. You do 5 days. You have 5 or 6 days, Jen, and it was 5 days, cafe, latte, and then they PayPal you $30. People don't think twice about the $30. Maybe you even put it out there out front, set a date for it and make it happen. And Mel, I think it would be cool even if we did this like team-wide, if we kind of come up with a date to do it and see if we can do something like that as well. The other thing that you can start doing in your team is a weekly spotlight. One of our coaches was talking about Derm Exclusive. I use Rodan and Fields. I've used it forever, but I was having a conversation with a coach who was like, Katie, we have this fill and freeze because the bags under your eyes are awful. And she didn't really say that to me, but she may have well as, because they are getting really bad, and I know it's an issue. But they have fill and freeze, right? So she was talking to me about fill and freeze, and I was like, I don't know why I don't think of it, but we have another product and we have a need. I have a need that can be fulfilled with what we have to offer. So maybe spotlighting some of the things that aren't always used. Spotlight in your team page, the boost line. Spotlight, hydrate. Spotlight the difference between recharge and recover, because if you did hard labor last week and you did that without recharge and recover, I don't know how you're actually physically walking. I really don't know how you're doing it. Props to you if you are. Okie dokie. Let's go on to the next one. So we have this. We're going to lead with kickstarts. We're going to sell people with Energize because we love it. We're going to talk about shake-offs. We're going to do one. Product of the week. We are so on that. And a team-wide refresh, because nobody refreshes alone. That's the truth. We commiserate together. Okay. All right. Sharing is caring. I just took these out of the 3 of them were out of our challenge group. This is me sharing. Look at me, not eating cake. This is a shake, and it's not cake, which is sometimes really hard. We got Stacia, who is sharing her Energize in the challenge group, again, using another product, not Shakeology, because she loves it. And it's this bright yellow thing that you want to go, oh, I just want a little taste. I want to know what that's like. Sent out a packet, recover, good stuff. She loved it. She's excited. Boom. And there's me telling them to prove them wrong. I don't even know what I was talking about there. But I have this shake that looks like Nesquik. And I had someone say, like, what was that thing you were drinking? Because it didn't look like Shakeology. That's right, because it wasn't. And it was awesome. Let me tell you about the awesomeness, okay? So we're sharing things. We're not selling them. We're sharing them, all right? But guys, now comes the work. This is what we're going to do. And then I'll answer any questions you have. We got to get serious. We got to do some work, because we have to know and acknowledge where we are with our own PV. So my first call to action for you is to review your PV for the last month and then actually add it together. So ask yourself, okay, where was I in terms of what I made, like what my PV was for an entire month? And then within that month, How many of it were reorders and how many of it was new orders? Success Club 5 is always going to mean that you have and you have your own Shakeology order. You always have a 500 base. What I'm challenging you to do, though, is to look at if you're just at that base. If you're at that base, I want you to increase yourself. If you're well above that base, you want to make sure that you're challenging yourself for a new base, okay? Success Club by the 15th. So you're going to follow up with those no's and offer products such as Energize. So the people who said no to you, don't let it die. Don't let it just say, I'll just get back to it next month. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of times we sometimes forget to actually get back to them the next month. We might forget the follow-up. Don't wait till next month. Meet them where they're at. What is their need? And how can you actually help them address whatever that need is now? Yeah, they might say no, so what? You'll survive. It'll all be good. And then eventually they'll see you drinking Energize and they'll want it. And then they'll want Energize and then they'll want your shake too. It's a win-win, totally. Create 3 product education posts for your free groups or your challenge groups. So that goes back to what these were. So when I was talking about these are kind of those ones that create some curiosity, or you're educating them in some way about what they are. I've done live videos before where I talk about what recover is versus what recharge is. I've done live videos before where I talk about, I think somebody was asking me about focus energy, and I'm really honest. If I don't love a product, I don't try to promote it. So for me, focus energy doesn't work. My body doesn't do well with it. So it's not a product that I promote, but if somebody asks me about it, I tell them about it. I tell them about my experience with it. And then I tell them about somebody else who has maybe experienced with it. So we're going to start educating people. You're going to do this in your free groups or your challenge groups. You're going to educate them with the other products. And this could be anything. This does not necessarily mean that it has to be Shakeology. We're not talking about that. I want you to also create 3 content that are not, I did not finish the sentence because I am on the refresh. So I was waiting for it. I knew I had to screw up somewhere. So that are not going to be direct sales. I want you to start thinking about how can I create posts that don't actually say, message me for details, but they create this curiosity. So I have this one, this is the one I did last night, and I shared my story. I have the box of the 3-day refresh in my hand, but I talked about it being a 3-day detox. I didn't even talk about it being something that I even sell. But wouldn't you know, as soon as I started talking about it, some of my challengers were talking about it. And then some of my challengers were interested in doing it. And I started getting messages about it. All right? Questions about that so far? Select your next volume driver. And by volume, I mean team, your team volume driver. So how can you drive some volume with your team? What can you promote with your team? Are you going to do a 3-day refresh together? Are you going to talk about that even in your challenge groups? Are you going to look for testers? Are you going to do a team-wide shake-off? Maybe you buddy up. Maybe you have a success partner and you guys really want to do it together. Do a shake-off together, 5 days, 7 days. We have all the plans for them. They are created for you. What if you do something with Derm exclusive testers? Maybe you have this new product that you yourself are trying out. You're looking for new testers. And if you're looking for new testers, you're looking for people who might be interested in doing this as well. So that's a lot. I get that this is a lot, but I really think that sometimes we get so bogged down by our self-worth being determined just by somebody saying yes or no to Shakeology, when really we have this entire catalog of programs and products that we can offer to people. And sometimes it's just this little tweak in the way that we go about wording it, in the way we go about talking about it. And there's a confidence that has to come with it. And that confidence comes by, what are the programs that you use, the products that you use? Look, I do the 3-day refresh. I get great results with the refresh. I hate the refresh. And I'm honest with people about that. But it works because they know me and they trust me. And they know I'm not just trying to sell them, but that I myself am using those products and programs, or those products. Don't be afraid to start giving people packets, sharing them, letting people see, how much, you love them. If you love them and you give them an Energize to try, they're going to love it too. Maybe when someone buys a challenge pack from you, you just automatically give them an Energize or a Hydrate or whatever it might be. You just need to think outside the box. This week, I really want you guys to take some time and review your personal volume. And then I want you to review, for some of you guys, review your team volume and ask, where are the gaps? Where are some places that I can start filling a need? Where are some places that I can see income growth that maybe I haven't tried before? And you can't be afraid to try it. You can't be afraid to maybe fail at this. You can't be afraid that maybe you're going to mail someone an Energize and then they sign up with another coach, because those things happen. But what you can do is you can say, I am going to increase my volume. I have that control and I am going to nail it. And then I am going to share it with my team and I am going to see them see the same exact success. So with that being said, do you guys have any questions? And you can unmute too. And Megan, I just started doing a product of the week. That's really cool. Okay, so the meal plan that I use, Amber, it's from T25. So if you go into Beachbody on demand and you go into the T25 and you click on program materials, scroll down, and it's the fast track plan. That's the one I use. But there's a ton of them too. I mean, even the older programs like Insanity or PIO, they all have these quick plans. What was a really good one? Turbo Fire. Turbo Fire has some amazing recipes and meal plans in there. So that's one to check out. Beyond the 21 Day Fix, like way back in Once Upon a Time. Do you guys have any other questions for me? Was it a lot? I'm struggling getting one of my coaches to Emerald. Is there also a fast start bonus 100 for coaches that become Emerald? No, that become Emerald within 1 month. I don't think so. No. But I want you to notice your wording though. So I'm struggling getting one of my coaches to Emerald. You are not in charge of anyone else's business. You aren't in charge of somebody else's rank, and you certainly cannot determine your own success based on somebody else's decision to go Emerald or not go Emerald. You need to own your own business, and they need to own that ship. They need to own the direction in which they're sailing. And there's a good way to see who your people are by looking at a call like this and saying, who are my people that are on the call? And I'm not saying, I know people work and I know all that and I know people check the recording, but you can't determine your self-worth and your own success based on a coach's choice to go Emerald or not. Emerald is really just a choice. It really is. You know, an Emerald is a coach on your left, a coach on your right. You can do that simply for the discount at first, but then it becomes a choice to start talking about the business opportunity and being confident enough in yourself that you can lead them, because you're going to lead by example. And you are not a coach who is going to leave your coaches stranded. You will not be that coach. And that's really important too. So it's not hard. It's just a mindset. It's really saying, I can do this. It's a left, it's a right. And I'm going to be the model of what a good coach is going to be. And they might come with me or they might not come with me. And that's okay. But don't ever think you have to get someone to any rank. You don't ever have to get anyone to any rank. And sometimes, even for you, as you're working towards that diamond rank, or you're working towards that star diamond rank, or that 2-star, that 5-star, you sometimes have to take a step back and you have to say, why does this matter to me? Is this the smartest move for my business? Am I maximizing income potential, or am I focused on validating myself based on what somebody else says is important? That's just me preaching for a second, because I've made mistakes. And one of mine was pushing for rank when I should have been pushing for income. So you guys have to remember that too. I want all of you guys to be able to go Emerald and say, oh crap, I need to get to diamond because I just capped at Emerald. Like, that's a big goal to be able to say that. Like, I capped at Emerald. I need to move my booty over to Diamond now. So I want you to think about that too. Nothing wrong with going Diamond fast as long as you are building coaches and sharing the coaching opportunity. I know this is a lot of information. Do you guys have any other questions for me? Word. Just mic drop it, Mel. Do you guys have any other questions? And honestly, I've like gone back and forth with some of my success partners and some of my coaches, and we've shared these ideas together. So if something I said isn't going to work for you, that's okay. Totally okay. But just troubleshoot with people. Go over some of these strategies with people. Get excited about it. Be like, we're going to shake it off. We're going to do a shake off. Let's shake it all off. Let's all do it. Let's just sell 5 shake offs. And just from that perspective of just being excited about it gets other people excited about it. Okay? Yeah, just do it. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Just do it. Go put your post up there. That's going to be awesome. Cool. And check out Shalene's call. I didn't even mention that. That was the other thing I wanted to mention. Make sure you guys go back into the chat section before I close out this call and copy and paste those 2 URLs I sent. I will have the recording and I will have the slides for you guys as well. Any other questions? All right. Have a good night, guys.